Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. We're going to be doing another current events live stream. Hope you're all having a wonderful day, and it is a beautiful day out here. It's 50s. I don't even know why I'm still inside. But the thing is, I wanted to cover some current events. And I also wanted to show off one of the beautiful things I got. I got this on Amazon because, unfortunately, the ones at the Boondock Saints website are not available. They're out of stock. They got to make some more. So, how you doing, Happy? We're going to be covering some Brie Larson stuff. That commercial is just so cringe. I know I said I wouldn't do another video on it, and I'm not. This is a live stream video, so I am going to cover it on here, current events and whatnot. We're going to talk about the broken logic of Star Wars retcons and a couple other stuff. But yes, before we do, let us put the final nail in the coffin of Star Wars, the Disney trilogy. And shepherds we shall be, for thee, my lord, for thee. Power hath descended forth from thy hand, our feet may swiftly carry out thy command. And we shall flow a river forth unto thee, and teeming with souls shall it ever be. In numine Patre et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. So, yes, rip Star Wars, folks. Rip Star Wars. Now, I'm going to use my phone to get the Bounding into Comics stuff going. So, other than that, while I wait for this stuff to load, how has everybody been doing? I see 3 people are in the or are paying attention and whatnot. How y'all doing? Give me a shout. And shout out to all 3 of you. Happy Dinosaur is 1, I know. Whoop, we got a 4th. Now let's go to Bounding into Comics. But yeah, how many of you all saw that Brie Larson cringe Nissan commercial where your refusal to compromise will win the day against toxic masculinity? I mean, seriously, folks, it's not. But yeah, I was going to do a video on that. I am not going to anymore. This is where I will address it. And Bounding into Comics really needs to load on my phone. Anywho, basically I will talk about the here we go. Oh, and a very special lady is sending me hearts. I shall send those hearts right back as well. Now, so let's get into it. Captain Marvel actor Brie Larson stars in woke Nissan refuses to compromise commercial. I saw the commercial. I almost puked out my own window after seeing it because I cannot stand that shit. I can actually do a review for Boondock Saints right here and right now. I can watch that movie in my head. I really can. And over some of the current events first, okay, Happy? And then I promise you I will review Boondock Saints. How about that? I can make it all the way through the commercial. Dude, it's truly cringeworthy. John Trent wrote it. Nissan recently debuted the commercial to refuse to compromise. Commercial begins with a male boss telling a female employee, so I'm going to hold on promoting you this quarter. Cool. Larson shows up in a new Nissan Sentra and tells the female employee, drop the taco, get in the car. She then asks, so this Sentra feels like a compromise to you? The handling is good, right? No compromise there. It concludes with Larson asking, so if this Nissan Sentra isn't going to compromise, then why should you? The woman then gets out of the car. The commercial ends with Larson saying, that a girl. Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I'm disgruntled with YouTube. A hate channel in Watertown has more views and subs than me. Why? Because of hate. Well, Vince, I gotta tell you, sadly, And I don't necessarily think it's a good thing. Sadly, hate is one of the big draws right now. Now, I don't always put hate on my channel. And thank you, I will keep up the hard work. But I don't always do hate crap on my channel and whatnot. The thing is, I just don't like certain things. And there are things I will talk about that I don't like. I think it's healthy to discuss things you don't like. I know you weren't talking about me, though. But sadly, sorry about that, folks. I do sometimes have a internet problems. I should have put up the banner, and I will actually do that right now. So yes, please be patient, and I usually return to our regularly scheduled program. By the way, folks, Vinny X-Wolf, he does some great content on his channel. I have subbed, and I watch his channel often. And if you guys want to catch some of the stuff he does some of the stuff that my brother does. He does Sack to the Future. He does gaming on his channel. He covers some stuff here and there. He also covers a little bit of politics. He covers all sorts of stuff. And I think his channel is a very good channel, and I think that people should support it. So if you sub to my channel, please think about giving a sub to Vinny's channel. He does some great stuff. Now, back to the thing. Basically, the way I see that commercial from Brie Larson is it was unnecessary. Here's the reason why. Basically, what the message that she is saying without saying is women don't get raises because they're women. That is not true. Many people have been passed up for raises because the boss looks at the numbers, crunches the numbers, sees if it can help with their profit margin or if there's room in their profit margin to allow for a little more money to be doled out. If that is not the case, then there should not be a raise given. It doesn't matter if you are male or female. Now, if you can't handle the fact that you get or that you're not going to get a raise, well, there's the door. Don't let it kick your ass on the way out. You don't get to dictate how your boss doles out his money in his business. That's just not the way it works, folks. And I'm not going to let some pampered SJW celebrity in Hollywood preach how life should be doled out if people and I'm not just going to stand idly by and let them freaking state it as gospel. I'm sorry. That woman walking out confidently, sure, fine. She gave her a little confidence. But I do not enjoy Brie Larson's messaging. Basically, I'm willing to bet that she might, all right, you might do a video later tonight. I will definitely tune into it. Now, Brie Larson has always been championing a cause. Here's the thing. She's championing a cause that has already been fought and won. Back in the 70s, folks, women are equal to men. And in some ways, women are superior to men. They can handle pain that men cannot. I can't remember what the name of the scale for pain is, but anything above 180 is fatal. Men die when they reach a pain threshold of 180 or above. Women can, I think they cranked it up to 210, is giving birth without all the painkillers and whatnot. And yet women can do it. Women are a wonderful thing. Women deserve to be celebrated, but not because they are trying to be exactly the same as men. You can't do that, because guess what? If you try, then women forget their own self-worth. That is the most important thing I will tell you today in current events. If you are trying to push this whole the future is women thing, you are not going to, or you are taking away from women's self-worth by trying to turn them into males. That's just what they're trying to do, folks. Now, and that's all I am going to say on this whole Brie Larson nonsense with the Nissan commercial. It is a stupid commercial. It should never have happened, and it's par for the course for a sexist like Brie Larson. That's all. So yeah, be gone, demon. Be gone, Brie Larson. Be gone. Get back. Hiss all you want. I don't care. I do not like the way that you are truly oppressing women and trying to be a savior for a cause that has been long fought and won. I dropped my thingy. Now, moving on to Star Wars. And yes, there are people who are going to disagree with me. If you disagree with me, I have this banner right here, folks. I have this banner right here. Different opinions are welcome. I encourage people to have their own opinion on my channel when it comes to things like Star Wars and whatnot. Wrong, the future isn't female or male. It's space dinosaurs. Exactly, Happy. Exactly. You keep holding on to that, man, because you frickin' deserve it. Now, Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker novel is going to be coming out around the 17th or 20th of March, but yet there have been channels, Star Wars Theory, and other channels who have gotten exclusive early releases of the book. And they have been reading the book, and they have been reviewing the book, and they have been releasing excerpts of the book. Now, there is the one where Palpatine, and I'm sorry, folks, because this stuff has been early released and whatnot, if you don't want spoilers, you can tune out. But if you haven't, or if you don't mind spoilers, by all means, stay on. I am going to be discussing spoilers for The Rise of Skywalker. The movie has been out in theaters for a while, and it's going to be shortly brought on digital on St. Paddy's Day of all days. I'm definitely going to have to crack open a cold one, not a beer, but a cold one, just to watch it. Anywho, they're explaining all the different plot holes in the book, or they're in from the movie into the book. And one of the things they did was retconned Return of the Jedi. You see, they killed Anakin Skywalker's sacrifice when he picked up Palpatine, threw him down the shaft. Also, they stated that Palpatine knew Vader was going to betray him. Palpatine knew that Vader was edging back towards the light side. I'm sorry, as smart as Palpatine is, if he had sensed that Vader was weakening, he would have done one of two things, folks. One of two things. And those two things are, he would either use some sort of manipulative tactic to reaffirm Vader's commitment to the dark side, or he would have killed Vader outright and tried to seduce Luke. That is how Palpatine operates. We have seen this in things like the Clone Wars. He was willing to let Maul do his little deeds until Maul became too powerful, until Maul took over Mandalore. He then approached Maul, saw that Maul had an apprentice, his brother, and he then saw that, or he then said, "It is unfortunate that you are attempting to deceive me." And Maul's like, "What?" And he's like, "You have become a rival." And yes, chomp that like button, people. Smash that like button if you can. I always do, and I always do enjoy and appreciate the support that you all give. Please show your support by leaving a like on all my videos that you see in the future and whatnot. The views are good, yes, but this channel also needs more likes. And more subscribers are also always nice, so feel free to share my content and get it out there to any people who you feel might be a like-minded individual or even not so. Now, when Vader picks up Palpatine, he throws him down the shaft. They say in this new Rise of Skywalker book, they explain in that moment that Palpatine is already transferring his consciousness across the galaxy to Exegol into that non-perfect clone body that we see in the Rise of Skywalker. Basic human logic, folks. If your body is dead and you are no longer in it, if your soul has departed, if your life has drained from it, you are not going to be able to do things like scream. And in the case of being a Force sensitive, he transferred his consciousness. So when you watch Return of the Jedi, pay attention to how long he is screaming. You will notice he is screaming all the way down to that last second where it blows up. And that's when he stops screaming. When he hits the core and it releases all that energy. So Palpatine was killed. I'm sorry, folks. But no, Disney has come out and said, nope, he just shot his consciousness all across the universe. All the way over to Exegol. And he's like, and I'm willing to bet he woke up saying, whew, that was a close one. Somebody get me some robes. My little Willie is looking kind of wrinkly. Sorry. That's disturbing. Anyway, how you doing, Kamen Rider? You know sure what Disney did with Star Wars is a bit hit or miss, but they at least help make Star Wars more popular now. Yes, they have made Star Wars popular, but they have also made it popular in not so good of ways. People do not like the way that Disney has disrespected fans. They have seriously, you had Rian Johnson literally tell people to suck him off on Twitter and call them man babies. You had freaking Pablo Hidalgo doing blockchains on fans of Star Wars. You have people, or you had these same Raylo freak fans freaking promoting rape art online on Twitter. Yeah. And then they get all happy because of the kiss. But then they find out it's not romantic, and they freak out, and they also don't like the fact that Ben Solo died, so they send death threats to Lucasfilm and J.J. Abrams. There was that freak, and I'm saying freak because she acted in a freakish manner, folks. I love to use literal definitions. This woman is truly a freak because she acts in a freakish manner. She had a shrine to Kylo Ren in her freaking house. She said she wanted to commit suicide because Kylo Ren died in episode 9. She called in sick at work, began self-harming herself. This woman needs help, and I think she needs a padded room and a straitjacket. I wish to win the lottery so I can even more things to chomp. I think you missed the word have in your comment there, buddy. But anyway, back to the stuff that they have retconned. This whole movie is a retcon of Anakin Skywalker's sacrifice. They even have that line in the movie, bring back the balance, Rey, like I did. I'm sorry, Anakin, but if Palpatine survived, you didn't bring balance to the Force. Your sacrifice was in vain. And that is a very sad thing, because this is all canon, folks. Well, this is all Disney canon. I prefer the EU for life, man. EU for life. Hashtag EU for life if you guys are fans of the EU. Put it in the comment section. Get that love for the EU going. And I am rereading one of my favorite books. There it is. Darth Plagueis. Because I know that the book club, the EU book club, is going to be reviewing that one next. It is one of the best books I have read from the EU. Now, here's the thing, folks. And so, yeah, Anakin has, or his sacrifice was in vain. And his, and Palpatine never died. He has an imperfect clone, which happens to be the father of Rey. So does that mean that Palpatine, if it's Palpatine's clone, it means it's genetic identical. So that's either granddaughter and daughter, which is just creepy and disgusting in so many ways. Also, it just doesn't make sense, folks. And I'm sorry, I love the Dark Horse comics. Exactly, the Dark Horse comics were very good comics. And I would love to win the lottery as well as a man can dream, can he? Exactly, Kamen Rider. Thing is, if I won the lottery, like maybe 14, 15 million, I'd be a happy camper. I'd set for life, and I would be able to do a lot of things I would love to do in my life, but I'm not a very rich individual. I also don't do the whole lottery thing, so a man can dream, but also a man can fall short on those dreams because he is not willing to do what it takes to achieve those dreams. However, the thing is, I also can't buy lottery tickets legally. So, and it's not because I'm underage. I'm 35. I could, but we're not going to get into that. So, yeah, there's that. Plus, this whole new High Republic thing. You got writers that are saying, we're going to do the whole gender non-binary thing. Why are you bringing earthly concepts to a galaxy far, far away? I'm honestly asking because inquiring minds want to know. Here's the thing. Do your stupid diversity. Do your stupid representation. Do all of it. But do it right, or else people are not going to care. By the way, small side note on the Nissan thing with Brie Larson that he covered earlier. They're probably going to find that a lot of people probably like Gillette did and lost a few billion. Now back to the other stuff. I really do not like how this new High Republic thing is going. And if people want to call me sexist or whatever, just know that I have friends on here who are part of the LGBTQ community. And yeah, now they're starting to say, even if you claim that you're still sexist, no, I'm not, because I'm not placing them at any level below me. In fact, some of them are much better people than I am because they are more mature than I am in some ways. You see, I am friends with transgenders. I am friends with gay people. I am friends with lesbians. I am friends with all sorts of different ethnicities and backgrounds. I have no problem with any of them. Do you want to know why? Because we all have mutual respect. And I'm about to sneeze. God bless me. Hail to you, Black Samurai 76. How you doing? Our Republic is high on cocaine to make this decision. Yeah, you're damn right, man. How you doing, Black Samurai? It's always good to see you, man. Black Samurai has been supporting me on Twitter a lot, folks. So yeah, he's a good guy. He's good people. But this whole identity politics nonsense, it's getting annoying. Stupid thing nowadays. But now, thank you. God bless me. Thank you, man. You are awesome. Now, as per requested by Happy Dinosaur, I am going to review Boondock Saints. I have not seen Boondock Saints in a few years, but I have seen that movie enough times that it's up here. I can literally watch it in HD in my brain. Now, folks, this movie was done by Troy Duffy. Now, it was going to have a theatrical release. Who hasn't seen Boondock Saints? Yeah. Okay, folks. It's driving me nuts. The freezing is driving me nuts. So I'm cracking open a bottle. It's not alcohol, don't worry. You know I don't drink alcohol. Anyway, this is just meal water, folks. You put a little, or I put 3 meals flavors in here and just slog. Now, anyway, folks, back to Boondock Saints. It was done by Troy Duffy in 1999. It was a straight-to-video release because Columbine, Colorado, the shooting there happened, and this movie was heavily violent and whatnot. And they didn't want to touch on that kind of stuff so shortly after Columbine happened. So with that in mind, let's get into it. Basically, it's about 2 brothers, Connor and Murphy McManus, played by Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead and Sean Patrick Flannery from all sorts of different projects. Now, they're brothers. They're Irish brothers. It starts in church where they're praying with these very things right here, except that theirs don't say Veritas Equitas. They have Veritas and Equitas tattooed on their hands. But anyway, you hear a voiceover of who you don't know, but later on comes into the film, Il Duce, or their father. And he's reading a passage from Genesis. When I raise my flashing sword and take hold, or in my hand takes hold on judgment, I shall cast vengeance upon my enemies, and I shall repay those who haze me. O Lord, count me among thy, or raise me to thy right hand and count thee among my saints. And then they start talking about Kitty Genovese, the Monsignor does. Now, the Monsignor talks about how a young woman named Kitty Genovese, this really happened, folks. This actually happened in real life, and I'm going to have another pause in internet signal, so Oh, wow. It didn't kick me out. That is awesome, folks. So, yes, Kitty Genovese was a real person who got attacked, and the people who was watching this, all manner of people witnessed and did nothing. And it is one of the main things that the Monsignor said. He said, now we must all fear evil men, but there is one thing we must fear most, and that is the indifference of good men. And as I do believe the Monsignor Hi, we're back. How you doing, Junebug? Yes, rest in peace, Orange Hat. Rest in peace. Anywho, they just left the church, and that is when they begin that beautiful musical piece called The Blood of Cuchulainn. Now, it is that one that they play all throughout the beginning, where the brothers go to work, and they work at a meat packing plant where freaking Connor's out smoking a cigarette, and his brother grabs a sorry, I got hair that I'm seeing out of the corner of my eye, and it drives me nuts. And he comes in, they all looking at him, and he's like, what? And his brother's just holding there, smacks him with the meat. This sets up the bond between the brothers, how close they are. And so he pits him down, and the one that just got smacked grabs a freaking cow tongue and starts beating his brother with it. I love that Thin Lizzy song, Cuchulainn. It's the blood of Cuchulainn, or Cuchulainn, as they call it. I always said blood of Cuchulainn, but yeah, it is. When 17th rolls around, folks, I actually play it for 10 hours straight. There's a 10-hour track of Blood of Cuchulainn on YouTube if you look it up. Being a meat packer pays better than being a fudge packer. Very true, man. Very true. Now, then after they have their fun, this is also part of a deleted scene, but they meet Rosie, the lesbian. Now, they don't really make her known to be a lesbian in the normal cut, but the brothers are training her, and so he's like, okay, the rule of thumb here. Wait, rule of thumb? And oh my God, she just goes off, folks. She goes off. In the early 1900s, it was legal for men to beat their wives as long as they used a stick no wider than their thumb. And I'm like, oh boy. And so, Connor's just gotta make fun of it. He's like, well, you can't really do anything with that, really. Should have been rule of the wrist. And it's like, oh, jeez. And she's like, I knew you'd two motherfuckers give me problems and this and that. And it's like, it's all on St. Patty's Day. It's only good fun. And she's like, oh, fuck you, and fuck you too. And she's like, yeah, it's all right. Just calm down, right? Kicks him in the nut. Kicks Sean Patrick Flannery, Connor in the nuts. And that's when Norman Reedus just punches her out, man. It is like, Oh shit! And the boss's reaction is like, oh shit! It is just great. So they get home, and then they go home. They shower. They put on their necklaces. They go out to the bar, and that's when you get introduced to Rocco, David Della Rocco, who kept his name in the movie, the same name as his real name in real life, David Della Rocco. He's a comedian and whatnot. So they're all there. It's on St. Patty's Day, and they're at Doc's bar, played by, I cannot remember his name. I know he's passed on, but he was also Doc in Fraggle Rock. So, yes, Rip Doc, you are sorely missed. He played a barman with Tourette's. And, oh, jeez, man. You got kicked out of the girl's live stream because I asked for her purple hair was a natural hair color. I just thought it was funny. Whose was that? Who did you get kicked out from? What was her name? I mean, I'm almost tempted to go to that person's live stream myself and just ask the same question. Just because. It's like, what the hell are you doing kicking out my boy? Just because he asked you a question that he was just fucking around with you, man, you know? But anyway, Doc needs to close the bar. And the Russians are buying up enough for all sorts of properties, including this one. Fuck! Ass! And it's like, if you don't know Tourette's, Tourette's makes you do stuff like that. And so he has Tourette's. And Rocco's like, maybe I could talk to my boss, see if he could do anything. So Chris Evans, yes. Hey, yeah, that's true. He didn't block me, but yeah. The thing is, man, he's like, what the fuck is your boss? No, I don't want anybody to know. So you're gonna keep your traps shut, and you know what? Because you know what they say: people in glass houses sink ships. I mean, Doc always screws up the things, and they're like, you know, Doc, we're gonna have to buy you some sort of proverb book. This mix and match shit has to go. And they go, it's like, a penny in the bushes or a penny a day is worth two in the bush, isn't it? Oh yeah, and don't cross the road or the street if you can't get out of the kitchen. And it's just so funny shit, man. Then the Russians come in, they start some shit, and Rocco starts some shit, and then they cue it to the next day after the Russians come in and whatnot. And so it's the next day, and you see the dead Russians. The Russians are dead in an alley somewhere. It's kind of like a little detective story, so to speak. And Greenlee, man. Oh, gosh, I love Greenlee. He's like, so these two are kicking the shit out of each other, right? He's giving all these bullshit freaking, all these different scenarios of how it went down and whatnot. And then comes in, played by the awesome Willem Dafoe. And he plays a gay FBI agent, folks. Willem Dafoe plays the best gay FBI agent I have ever seen. So, he's like, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So we got a huge guy serial crusher theory and a huge guy theory. What's your name again? Greenlee. Who the fuck are you? Pulls his badge up. That's who the fuck I am. And so the chief basically tells the boys, or Duffy and Greenlee, what's basically going to happen, and that they're going to basically cooperate with Agent Smecker here and whatnot. And so that's when Smecker decides to lay down some alpha rules and some alpha content, folks. He's like, why don't you go get me a coffee? Chief, what the hell is this? Cafe latte, twist the lemon. Chief, what the fuck is this? Sweet and low. He just basically dismisses Greenlee outright. So then he puts on a freaking CD player Walkman, starts dancing to the to opera music while he's going through the crime scene. Sees this, sees that, twiddles down and whatnot. And then as this music ends, he basically goes through exactly how it happened with the less known details still eluding him. And he's like, we need a 50 caliber slug dug out of a dumpster and one dug out of a wall. Get ballistics down here, and this and that. This was no gangland assassination. Although yada yada. He's talking to the police or to the patrol officers, and then he puts his hand on one of them to suggestive gay thing. Corey Feldman's documentary comes out today. Cool. Now, that's when one of the other ones notice and gives a little arm nudge over to his partner. And he's like, and his partner realizes it too. How you doing, Adiga? We're talking Boondock Saints 1, and I told Happy I'd give a review of it. So yeah, and I might actually make this a staple of my current events. I will, or first come, first serve for all my current events from here on out. First come, first serve. If you want me to do a review on the fly of a movie that I have seen, I will do it. So yes, let's continue with the Boondock Saints. So he's going through, he's saying, or he basically is now basically the master of these people. And he's like, or he's asking the people to talk to any of the people who own the buildings. They're talking about, all right, there was water coming up from the third or down to the third floor. He's like, third floor or fourth floor rather. So we're going to the fifth. And he's like, he's still arguing with the Greenlee, because Greenlee finally got him his coffee. And he's like, oh, really? Well, I'm thinking I want some bagel with my coffee. He's like, I ain't getting him no fucking bagel. And so they find the McManus brothers' apartment, and he's like, we'll start the ass kissing with you. Points directly to Greenlee without even looking back, man. And it's just, oh, wow. It goes on from there. The brothers are in the hospital, and they then tell you how it goes down. It was a clear-cut case of self-defense, and they're talking to Smacker, but and whatnot. They had Doc show up, asking. They're in a Catholic hospital, by the way. One of my favorite parts is that, like, oh my gosh, man. Doc goes in with his fuck-ass Tourette's, and you see the nuns crossing themselves and whatnot, and they're talking to the young boy there. He's like, none of that was directed towards you. He's just, and so they ended up going to the police station. This movie was well done, folks. I mean, objectively, I liked this movie. For a low-budget film, for a low-budget independent film, this movie was well done. And whatnot. So, yeah, there's... so then he shows up, or Smecker is basically saying, first of all, I want to thank whatever idiot here leaked it to the press, and how they're making them out to be some superheroes triumphing over evil, and whatnot. They're just two ordinary people that were put in an extraordinary situation, and now the general consensus is they're angels. And Greenlee's like, these guys are miles away by now. And Smacker he decides to let Greenlee have his thing. Here's what's gonna happen. You could beat your head against the wall all you want, but you really want to do something, throw a potato or drag a potato around here and say, hope they come, thanks for coming out. And the brothers, while Greenlee's saying this bullshit, is basically saying, or the brothers come in, Smecker's looking at him, and then he's like, you probably have better luck with beer. And oh my God, man. It is a shame that Troy Duffy only directed 2 films. I heard he was such an asshole on set. The guy's a really good director. Thing is, yes, there was some stuff that happened behind the scenes. But the thing is, you got to understand the full story. He had backing of studios, but the studios fucked him over. So of course this guy is going to be heavily stressed out trying to get this movie done on his own. So yeah, I am well aware of the stuff of how he was an asshole on set and whatnot. You got to understand, he had to do this on his own when the frickin' Hollywood screwed him over. So that's the reason why that documentary came out, to basically defame his ass. So they then basically do the whole clear-cut self-defense. They spend the night in jail, or basically because they don't want to talk to the press. They want to be released at an undisclosed time, and that is when they get their calling. Well, I'm going to be an asshole if it happened to me. As a matter of fact, I might tell my crew and cast, I'm sorry if I come off as an asshole, and explain them the situation. That's basically what he did. But the people who defamed him, they're basically Hollywood shills. And so, yeah. Well, yeah, I might be no longer want to leave for my job. Actually, might have a job now. I work for a tree service. Nice to hear, Junebug. Congratulations on the job. But anyway, wait, I might no longer be on winter. Oh, yeah. Okay. I want to make sure I read that right. And if I am skipping in and out, folks, I am sorry for the internet issues. But anyway, they receive their calling, and you hear Billy Connolly's voice again. And then you see the brothers recite a passage to each other: destroy that which is evil, so that which is good may flourish. They have their calling. It's as if God himself has ordained these brothers to go on this mission. And so they take all the stuff that they bagged from the Russians, they bring it to an Irish gun dealer, and he's like, knock yourselves out. And you get some of the best freaking lines, folks, from these situations and whatnot from here on out. And it's like, no, they're going through a bunch of different freaking weapons, man. You see the big ass weapons. You see, it's like, you know what we need? Some rope. Happy day, Junebug, you good old lumberjack. Funny thing is, my high school mascot is a lumberjack. So yes, cool. We're in tree service, especially this time of year. It usually picks up after Texas. Yeah. Anywho, he's like, yeah, what are you gonna say? No, you look, or Clint Eastwood, or all those movies always have the guy using a rope and whatnot. He's like, this isn't a movie. I was like, all right. His brother's like, this isn't a movie. He's like, oh, is that right? Picks up a freaking big ass knife. Ain't that right, Rambo? All right, get your stupid fucking rope. He's like, I'll get my stupid rope. I'll get it. There's rope right here. And oh my gosh, folks. So they go and they kill a Russian mafia boss. And 9 or 8 other guys. And freaking Smecker gets a call while he's in bed with his boyfriend or whatever, and his boyfriend's trying to cuddle with him, and he gives him a little smack on top of the head, and he's like, ah, and then cuddles again. He's like, is there a body count? Smacks the dude in the face, and he's like, oh, and he's like, all right, I'll be right there. And he's like, what are you doing? I just wanted to cuddle. Cuddle? What a and calls him an derogatory for a gay guy. And he's gay himself, folks. And he does this. And it's like, oh my gosh, it is just freaking hilarious that he does this. And so he gets there, looks around. How many bodies, Greenlee? 8. And then he looks at him and he's like, oh man, I forgot about that guy. 9? And he's like, well, Greenlee's out getting coffee. Does anybody else want anything? Shit. So they start going over the whole thing about how the brothers did it. And it shows you while Schmecker's going through it, how he did it and whatnot. And you see the brothers, they go in, they're doing this whole James Bond bullshit, creeping through the freaking ventilation shafts and whatnot. And they start fighting on this shaft. It's like, we're trying to figure out some serious shit here. Oh, fuck you. Tony, you're fucking over. And they start arguing. He's like, would you fucking shut it? Cracks him down with the fucking light. Oh, God. And it was completely accidental that they fall through the roof. And Schmecker calls it out, man. Schmecker actually, he's like, television. He's just, television is the answer for this. You see this on bad television. Little assault guys creeping through the ventilation shaft. That James Bond shit doesn't work in real life. Professionals don't do that. And whatnot. And then Rocco shows up and it all goes to shit. And then they're at Rocco's freaking place. Basically tells Rocco that he could take credit for it and whatnot. Otherwise, he'd end up dead because the freaking mafia sent the Italians sent Rocco there to die. They probably know he would get the fat guy, the mob boss, but they sent him in with a 6-shooter where there's 9 guys. And it's like, wow. I mean, seriously, folks, Boondock Saints is is a movie that you have, or that amassed such a cult following. There's shirts, there's freaking memes about it, there's all sorts of shit. I mean, one of the best freaking lines that Rocco drops in that movie, shut your fat ass, Ravy. I can't buy a pack of smokes without running into 9 guys, you fucked. He killed his girlfriend's cat last night while they were drunk and all that shit. He banged his hands on the table and his gun went off and splattered the cat. But anyway, they're all out and whatnot. The Rocco went to a freaking diner, shot up the place, killing 2 mafia guys, and so then they go to a strip joint because that's where freaking Ron Jeremy, the porn king, is in this fucking movie. By the way, no joke, Ron Jeremy is in this movie, folks. You know, the porn guy that looks like Mario. Sean Patrick Flannery is an underrated actor. He was really good in Indiana Jones. He was in Indiana Jones? Alexa, was Sean Patrick Flannery in Indiana Jones?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Of course you don't. Anywho, very important that day, a little thing you might have to put under your pants. Yeah. Yikes. But yeah. This movie is a great movie. Like I said, it was an Indian or independent movie. The people who played in these movies got bigger roles in later on in life. Some of them did, some of them didn't. The guy that plays Giuseppe, the mafia don, and whatnot. Oh my gosh, the movie was great, dude. And a lot of people rag on the second movie. I honestly thought the second movie was very good. It was made for the fans. They've been asking for it for freaking years. They finally got it. I liked it. Yes, Julie Benz was annoying, but you know what? I still liked it. I didn't see any woke nonsense in any of these movies either. But these movies were very well done. And Billy Connolly, the freaking comedian Billy Connolly, plays one of the most badass characters on film ever. He plays Il Duce. He is a freaking mafia assassin that kills anybody who is corrupt, basically. I mean, this guy is, yeah, he was a lead in Young Indiana Jones, Sean Patrick Flannery, along with 4 other actors who played him besides Harrison Ford. Oh, so he was in the Young Indiana Jones show. Okay. Alrighty, well, yeah, I didn't know that. Interesting. But yeah, folks, this movie was very good. Objectively, I would give it a 4 out of 5. It was well done. It had some problems here and there, yes. But what small production movie doesn't? Now, subjectively, I gave it a 5 out of 5. I love that movie. Moviegoer, if you're into the crude humor that this movie dictates and gives, you will like this movie. If you're overly sensitive and a whiny little bitch, you're not going to like this movie. Don't watch it. But also, I always encourage people to make up their own minds and actually do watch it. So yeah, make up your own minds. Watch the movie. You might actually like it if you're not sensitive. But oh my gosh, folks. So yeah, freaking Il Duce also turns out to be the McManus brother, father, because while Rocco dies later on in the movie, and they say the prayer for Rocco, shepherds we shall be, and they had already crossed paths with Il Duce. They actually had a shootout with him and lost and whatnot. This movie is a great movie and such. It is getting to the hour point, folks, and I do want to wrap this up before an hour in. So, but yeah, and as they're saying the prayer, the father's there, and he's ready to kill these guys because he doesn't know that they're their sons until they start reciting the prayer. And then he unclicks his gun, and they stop and they pull their guns, and that's when he starts reciting the same prayer. And our feet may swiftly carry out thy command, and we shall flow a river forth unto thee, and teeming with soul shall it ever be. In numine Patre, Filii, Spiritus Sancti. Now, the reason why they don't blow his brains out is because it's a family prayer. And that prayer is a prayer that is, to this day, has been recited on shirts and everything, man. Boondock Saints is a great movie that never made it into theaters because of Columbine and whatnot, but it still amassed such a cult following that it and still holds out to this day as one of the best films I have seen. That is a low-budget film. And yes, while the second movie was not as good as the first, it still was very good. The second movie, objectively, I would give a 3 out of 5 instead of a 4 out of 5. Subjectively, I'd give it a 5 out of 5. I enjoyed it immensely. And moviegoer, I'd still give it a 5 out of 5. These movies are made basically to offend. These movies are made to piss people off because Troy Duffy, he doesn't give a shit. Let's get Boondock Saints 3. Unfortunately, they aren't going to be doing 3. I heard they're trying to do a show, but there's a lot of shit going on. I mean, I would absolutely love a 3 to happen, but I honestly don't know. I really do wish a 3 had happened already, but I'm not seeing it happen. But anyway, folks, I am going to start wrapping it up here. We're at 58 minutes even. So anyway, thank you and for showing up for my current events live stream. Junebug, Happy, Adiga, Vinny, and all the others who showed up. Tonight, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to finish watching Castlevania Season 3 so I could do a review for that tomorrow and whatnot. Then I'm going to start watching a couple other movies. I'm going to do a retro review of the movie The Right with Anthony Hopkins and whatnot. And because I like to do retro reviews as well, where I review a movie that's not new, but I haven't seen it in a while, so I'm going to rewatch it and whatnot. So yeah, I'm definitely next month. My next month's retro review is going to be Dracula Untold, and I really like a lot of movies that I haven't seen in a while. So I will be giving retro reviews once a month. This month will be The Right, which will happen actually Wednesday, and tomorrow will be the review for Castlevania Season 3. But, yep. Anyway, folks, you all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know what you thought about any of the stuff that we have talked about in today's current events. And let me know if you guys like Boondock Saints and whatnot. I wanted to go through the whole story, but it would have taken a long time to do so. Anyway, folks, you all are amazing, beautiful people. You freaking rock. You're breathtaking. All that other stuff. You are awesome people. Seriously. Let nobody tell you different. Anyway, folks, this has been Orange Hat Reviews, and I will catch you all on the next one. Take it easy.